If you want to try to develop a strong culture, listen up. You want accountability, you want trust, you want better communication and collaboration and initiative and ownership from your team. The problem is that you may be approaching culture as though you can just install it. You created a mission statement. Maybe you have a vision. You print your values and you build a slide deck. You hang it on the wall, not the slide deck, the poster of the values. You might host a retreat for your team and launch a culture initiative. You tell them we are going to have a better culture, but somehow the culture doesn't change because culture is not a document. It's not a mission statement. It's not a declaration or a presentation. Culture is an emergent property of human interaction. And emergent things don't respond particularly well to announcements. Now, ask around. You're going to hear things like culture eats strategy for breakfast. Every leader has a different definition of what culture really is and how to engage it in a team. Maybe a very simple definition of culture. It's what people repeatedly experience. Notice I said experience and not do, because right now we're talking about how do you observe a culture, because it's not what you say it is. It's not what you intend or hope or write. It's what people experience every day. So if a company values accountability, but nobody addresses poor performance, employees experience avoidance. If a company says it values teamwork, but rewards individual competition, employees experience self-interest. And if a company says it values communication, but difficult conversations never happen, employees experience silence. And people believe their experiences more than they believe the poster on the wall. Culture is built through incredibly small moments. That difficult conversation, the team meeting, the performance review, how you hire, how disagreements are handled, how mistakes are handled, apologies and preparation, and even emails or Slack messages or text messages. Thousands of small interactions occur every week inside your organization. And over time, those interactions accumulate into patterns. Patterns can become expectations. Expectations become norms. Norms are your culture. It's not built through your annual retreat. It's built every day. This explains why culture is so difficult to change. Leaders often attempt to change culture through information. Unfortunately, culture emerges through behavior, not information. You can communicate new expectations all you want. You can explain the standards that you have. You can introduce language and the things that matter to you. But if the behaviors associated with the core values don't change, culture is not going to change. Organizations frequently overestimate the power of communication and underestimate the power of repetition. People don't learn culture from an employee handbook. I learned this the wrong way. I did it completely wrong for the first 10 years of my career, maybe more than that. Employees learn culture from what consistently happens, what gets rewarded, what gets tolerated, what gets corrected, what gets ignored. This is where we need to dive into core values again. Many people treat core values as a branding opportunity. Put it on your t-shirt, hang it on a poster on the wall, use it in marketing for your website. Decorative statements, words that sound good. But properly used, core values serve a very different purpose. They provide a foundation of instruction for how we behave in this organization. They help people answer questions like, how do we handle conflict? How do we make decisions? How do we approach accountability? And how do we communicate under pressure? Even more importantly, how do we treat one another if things are not going well? Values create consistency in interactions, and consistency in interactions is what shapes culture. Let's play a game. Imagine two organizations that have the same mission statement. Both have similar talent, similar number of people, similar resources. One organization values preparation. The other doesn't. At first, the difference appears small. One team reads materials before meetings and shows up prepared. The other team doesn't. They improvise. One team follows through consistently because they were taking notes and set responsibilities for what happens after the meeting. The other one doesn't. So none of these moments on their own seem all that significant, but over the course of weeks and months and years, they compound. In one organization, trust grows. Reliability thrives. Coordination improves. Execution improves. Culture eventually becomes dramatically different because of the repeated behaviors, because of values expressed through action repeatedly. So now you're thinking, right, core values create culture. Well, not necessarily. Core values in action create culture. That extra word, action, is critical here. A value that is not practiced is not a value. It's a slogan. A value that is not reinforced is not a value. It's a simple decoration. And a value that is not modeled is simply an aspiration. Culture emerges when values repeatedly influence behavior, when preparation actually happens, when accountability and curiosity and ownership and respect all happen. Behaviors come first. Culture is what follows. Rules. This whole idea changes the role of leadership because leadership is all about embodying the values, reinforcing and protecting them, creating systems that support being able to behave within the values as they've been described. Because every day, as a leader, you are teaching culture, whether you realize it or not. Every tolerated behavior, rewarded behavior, ignored behavior, the organization is constantly learning. The question is, what are they learning? Okay, so culture emerges. We talked about that. And it emerges through the interaction of the humans in your organization. From conversations and decisions and accountability and preparation and ownership and other things that are associated with the core values that you are wanting to display. And that's why core values matter, because they're practiced. At their best, they become the interaction rules that shape thousands of our daily decisions. And over time, those decisions become our culture. I don't care what your poster says. I don't care what your handbook says. The mission statement is irrelevant without the behaviors associated with core values. Know them and live them.